Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it. So I hope you've recovered from watching Snake Eyes Wee Maxie, the Minsk Mauler, get his bum smacked by a nurse in a very low-cut blouse yesterday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I released the heretofore unseen Las Vegas Files, a video blog of my trip to Vegas with Snake Eyes, to do the Mobile Masters eSports commentary. Now, this is a very different video, though, to that, because this is actually about tanks. And this tanking video is not about the T20 per se. This is not just about the T20. It is, and this is, okay, you're going to see it. This is as salty, really, as I get. What in the world are you guys doing? There are 4 of them. It's 40 seconds into the game. They've just left spawn. I'm kind of flummoxed as to what they're up to. Anyway, this is not a great tank. Well, it's an all right tank. And as Snake Eyes would tell you, if Bushka says it's solid, don't buy it. It's very much put into the shade by its peers. At Tier 7, you have some incredible tanks. And, well, I'll just give you a quick comparison shop on this. It's one good thing that it's got going for it is that it has a lovely 10 degrees of gun depression. Let's compare it to the Comet. The Comet has 12 degrees of gun depression. It has slightly better mobility, and it has 30% more damage per minute, 2,849 versus a paltry 2,003. In fact, the T20 has the lowest damage per minute number of any tier 7 medium tank. And it's got worse armor. It's got absolutely no armor. It's pennable all over by everyone, but in quite a few instances by 150mm HE shell, so it's not particularly good. So why am I driving it, and why are you watching a video about it? This video's name is Training Day, and there's a reason for that. I was thinking today, what tank, if I wanted to just practice good, solid ground strokes, like the meat and potatoes of Blitz medium play, what kind of tank could I drive and what tier could I drive it at? Because it's not really a place to learn how to play at tier 10, and the stakes are quite often too high. Down here, the play is a little bit easier, and this tank offers you just enough to get by. And if you can successfully play well in this tank, if you can put out good numbers in this tank, you can put out good numbers in absolutely anything in the game that's a medium. It really is quite a difficult drive. It's doable because it's a medium and it's tier 7. It's got enough mobility to get by, but you can see how much positional work I'm putting in to playing the game here in this tank. And it's got that whole ethos about it, that one-hit kill ethos. You play this where you think your next shot that you take is going to blow you up because you don't have any armor and you won't bounce a lot of shots. You play this where you try not to get stuck into no cover brawls, because quite simply every other tier 7 medium, I mean, even the Type 62 has 500 damage per minute more than this tank, and it has exactly the same armor profile, every bit as bad as this, but it's a lot more mobile and has a lot better camo. So you can see what I mean. It's a fun tank, but you have to play it smart. You have to be smart about it. And I'm going to show you a couple of games now. I'm going to talk through why I think this is a really good idea, and it's something that I got a lot out of today, and it's something you might want to try. There's a very, very cheeky Kolobotov there. Just staying alive, making sure we capped it out. Jump in a T20 if you have one, or if you have the line. It's a great tank to have in the garage as a trainer because it's not an easy tank to roll, but it has the value of it's an easy tank to manufacture shots in. For instance, if you're going to do this in a French light tank, that's all well and good, but it's got no gun depression, so you don't really have that as a fallback position. It's not always easy just to manufacture the shot. So this tank has 10 degrees of gun depression. It's reasonably quick. It's reasonably mobile. And you can see in this game that I play here, I'm going to use it right up to the edge of its capabilities. Switching up to APCR so I can get a shot on the front of that T29. Just using the terrain. Now, Why do I say that this is a better tank than, say, a T-29 or an AMX 1375? Well, you've got your gun depression and everything like that as well, but you're very soft, you have no armor profile, so you cannot simply roll up to targets and dominate them by counting on the fact that you're a higher tier tank, and because of that you won't take damage. It just doesn't work like that. You can't roll up to targets. In anyone you face in this tank is going to have pretty much better damage per minute numbers than you. So when you roll up to a target and just start dueling it out, you can't be sure just because it's tier 6 that you're going to be able to maintain some form of supremacy. All the tier 7 mediums, great, they'll smash you in damage per minute numbers if you end up in a brawl. All the tier 6 mediums and lights will have comparable damage per minute. You might have slightly bigger than them, but you won't be able to just walk up and bully. Like if you're in a Comet, you could run up to just about any tier 6 tank and quite simply swap a couple of hits to destroy them. You can't do that in a T20. So what that forces you to do is play smart, and you don't have the penetration numbers to just go straight through everything. So you've got to play a lot more intelligently, and you can see that here. I am on the flank where a lot of tanks down. They're pushing from all over. I'm more or less just working the angles, and I've got a very narrow margin for error. I've got 2 tanks down there on my left. I've also got a Panther across here on the left. I've got a KV-3 on my right. I'm currently unspotted. What I'm trying to do is just stay unspotted so that I can get a shot, make sure that Panther goes to someone else, and then I can get shots on his side. They don't go in. So what? You do your best. The KV-3's got his hands full over there. I'm moving back and forth. I'm using this little bit of low terrain here and the very low profile of the T20. For all that, it is a very small or low to the ground tank. So I'm able to do that, and I'm just angling up to multiple targets, not to bounce, but to make sure that I'm not visible and to be hit from multiple targets. And we end up running into a very tough time because there's some clown in a KV-1S who rolls up on my right-hand side now. Yeah, there he's over there. And I don't have amazing penetration numbers on this tank at all. And I can't believe that he gets that shot in. But there you go. I mean, that gun never does that for me, but there you go. And then, again, I get this shot in, so, swings and roundabouts. And it's forcing me to play in an incredibly conservative fashion and track multiple enemies at once to maintain my armor profile and to use the only assets I've got, namely gun depression and a little bit of mobility. And I'm just trying to leverage that, hoping that KV can't get a shot in, but he won't go away. The writing is on the wall here. Like, they've just got too many hit points to get through, too much armor, too many tanks. The AMX 12T can't be blamed here. He's got no gun depression, so when he comes up here, he can't really even help me. I've got 2 120mm guns that side. I've got another 120mm gun over here on the right, and I only have 183 hit points. So we stay alive as long as we can. We put one more in, but we run out of places to hide. Why is that a good thing? I had to think my way through this match. I had to absolutely stick with it and work the whole time to get damage done and to be successful. And that's really, really important because I went and drove a T54 Mod 1 after doing these videos here and went so well in it. And it wasn't just because I was able to bounce shots and do all that kind of stuff. It was because I'd really given myself a little bit of a refresher course in staying alive and looking at the map. If I was just honest with myself, quite often, like most of you guys, when I'm driving in Blitz, there comes a time where you reach your best play and you go well beyond it. And when you're doing that, when you're playing those long sessions where you've clocked a couple of hours Blitz and you are really just going through the numbers, that's when the habits that you've ingrained driving really soft tanks like this in a really genteel manner and thinking your way through, they just start coming out regardless. You can see there's a Vindicator down the end of that runway. I'm going all the way around and I'm just being so precise with this and so thoughtful because I'm not in a really strong Russian medium or light tank. Yeah, strong light tank. Or an IS-3 Defender or something like that. I'm in a T20. I know there's a TD over there. I know there's a TD on my right. And I'm going to get the Vindicator, which I think is far and away the worst of the two between the Predator and the Vindicator, right in the side. And I'm constantly looking and waiting for that Vindicator to give me a shot. And then I just back up. Now, I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking, is there anyone out here? We angle anyway. Like, you should get in the habit of angling, even when you're in a crappy tank like this, because you've seen I've bounced a few shots. In this game, I bounced one from that from the AMX 1375. I want to say it was a 75. And it's because you naturally just start bouncing. And you can see I'm so aware of where everyone is on this map, or rather of where the big guns are. I know there is an SU-100M1. It's why I'm not pushing around this corner. I keep thinking he's got to be up there. And this guy appears to be AFK. There he is. He's popped. So I drive all the way over here and I just stop behind this hill. There we go. Making sure that he can't get me that SU-100. And he's spotted, but these guys still come out because this guy wants to get the kill shot. So he gets wrecked. I mean, honest to God. Oh, there you go. SU-100 gone. And you can see the way I'm playing it. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying that I'm amazing or anything. That's not the point. The point is that you play this, and if you want to put damage out, and I put 2,800 out in the last game, and I think I had about 2,000 average damage through the course of 6 or 7 games in the T20. And I really just wanted to get back to basics and start playing a tank that could do things like this but wasn't overpowered. And that's definitely the T20. And I also have to mention that I'm in love with the engine noises of the American medium tanks. I just think they're the best engine noises in the game. Just something that I have as a particular love. There you go. So that's it, guys. Training day. Jump in a tank. If you don't have a T20, don't go and buy a T20. Don't waste your money. There's other tanks that suit and fit this bill. But I'm not talking about like a Leopard PTA or something that's lightning fast with an amazing gun and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about a real middle-of-the-road tank that's got a bit of mobility, a bit of gun depression, and can move about the joint, but isn't overpowered, down at tiers 5, 6, and 7. And see if you can't make a name for yourself running that tank and getting a feel for the game there, and then taking that away with you and just becoming a better player for it. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Thanks so much for your time. Love your work, and until next time, stay safe on the battlefield.